Welcome to my podcast, Fragmented to Whole, Life Lessons from 12-Step Recovery. Hi, I'm Barb, the founder and CEO of Higher Power Coaching and Consulting. I'm a boundaries coach and a woman in recovery whose life has been utterly transformed through the 12 steps of recovery. After almost 4 decades of therapy, self-help, retreats, workshops, and various other ways I tried improving my life, I found myself in recovery at age 52 in 2015. I like to say that all that other stuff scratched the surface of the iceberg, whereas recovery melted the iceberg for me. I'm in 2 different recovery programs, but I don't speak for or represent any particular 12-step program of recovery. I empower people to live their lives on purpose and thrive by coaching them on how to build healthy boundaries in their personal and professional lives. I do that through private and group coaching programs and support groups. I also speak, write, and consult with organizations, especially those that serve women entrepreneurs and those in the helping professions. I've found that all self-help stems from having healthy boundaries. You are not going to follow through and be consistent with your self-help program or your self-care if you don't have healthy boundaries, period. I help individuals and people in organizations avoid burnout, overwhelm, and resentment, which means organizations have less turnover. I also help people really internalize that they are in charge of how their life goes. I empower them to make choices and give them skills to take charge and stop blaming others when their life isn't going according to plan. I'm proud to live in a condo in Connecticut across from the Long Island Sound, where I go walking most days during the warm weather in search of sea glass, shells, and stones. My house is full of them, and they also cover my windowsills outside. I am a formerly closeted fan of the Hallmark Channel. I wear fingerless gloves from mid-September to mid-June because my hands are always cold, and no, I do not have Raynaud's disease. I'm a sociologist by training who's committed to leveling the playing field in society, especially in regard to race, gender, and sexual orientation. I identify strongly as an entrepreneur and love every minute of building my business. Okay, maybe not every minute. It's a lifelong dream that I honestly never believed would come true. Thank you, 12 Steps of Recovery, for that and so many, many other gifts. Though I was already a spiritual person before I got into recovery, my spirituality was nothing like it is now. I choose to call my higher power God, and now I use God in ways I never did before recovery. I ask God for guidance, I turn things over to God, and I ask for God's will for me and the power to carry it out. And guess what? It's working. That is, I'm higher powered, and thus the name of my coaching and consulting business. I believe it's never too late to recover. No one is beyond hope. And healing is possible. You are no exception. We are all beloved creations of God, no matter what we've done or failed to do. There is hope, and I am here to give it to you. Now, here are some of the topics on the show. They include boundaries, what they are, the different types, how to form them, and how they impact every single area of your life, as well as what to say when communicating them with others and how to deal with the pushback when you set boundaries. Addiction and compulsion and how to overcome them and live life in such a way that it's much less likely that you'll relapse. Emotions and how to deal with them. Self-hate and how to get past that, as well as all kinds of other thought work and mindset shifts. Relationships with yourself and others, how to improve them and keep them stable and peaceful, as well as how to communicate directly and effectively in those relationships. And then, of course, there's all kinds of motivation and inspiration. What you can expect to hear on the show is my own raw and vulnerable personal stories of defeat and triumph, and how I use the tools of recovery to manage my life in such a way that I reduce the chaos instead of increasing it like I used to. You'll also hear about my relationship with my sweetheart from time to time, the first healthy relationship I've ever had in my life. We met when I was 55 and he was 60. One of the most common things listeners say is that I am relatable. They can tell I'm being authentic because I am, and that I give them hope that they too can change. I also hear that they like that the episodes are pretty short. Most are typically 10 to 20 minutes long, so they can fit in an episode in a short ride in the car. They also say that I'm pretty succinct. I get to the point and tie things up pretty neatly without a lot of extraneous bullshit and without having to leave things hanging. Speaking of bullshit, you can also expect me to swear. So if that's not your thing, this is not your podcast. I'm particularly fond of the F word, so beware, you will probably hear it on every episode. Welcome to my world. I was recently reminded by a friend that when I first started recovery, I didn't feel lovable. I almost can't believe that I used to feel that way, and that I kind of forgot something so profound because I truly love myself now. And I want that for everybody. If you don't love yourself, there's literally nothing that can make up for that. I created something exclusively for my private clients since many of them don't love themselves. And I've now opened up my private vault to share it with up to 10 people individually. It's called the Self-Love Sprint. You'll grow to love yourself and truly feel worthy so you can stop saying yes when you really want to say no, stop neglecting yourself and putting everyone else first, stop saying all kinds of nasty shit to yourself. That is not what people who love themselves and feel deserving do. You'll stop being afraid that others will think that you're selfish for taking time to care for yourself. This is also for you if you don't really know who you are because you've always been such a fucking chameleon. Go to higherpowercc.com/love sprint. Remember, I'm only offering 10 of these, so don't wait. If you like this podcast, and I'm guessing you did or you wouldn't still be listening, then you're gonna love the other things I have to offer. If you'd love pre-release podcast scripts and episodes before anyone else gets them, or if you'd love access to content from my private vault that I developed exclusively for my private clients, which is like having a work session with me without me actually being there, go to patreon.com/higherpowercoaching. There are 3 tiers ranging from as low as $4 up to $24 a month. You'll also love my weekly newsletter, Friday Fragments, which has content very similar to the podcast. You can check it out at fridayfragments.news. That's fridayfragments.news. Please like and subscribe to my podcast on your favorite podcast outlet. I'd also love it if you'd leave a review, which you can do either in the show notes or on Apple Podcasts. It really helps other people find my podcast so they can get the benefits you've gotten from listening. If someone came to mind when you listen to this particular episode, please share it with them. And my favorite place to hang out on social media is Instagram. I'm at Higher Power Coaching. Please DM me there. I'd love to hear what you got from this episode. I run group and private coaching programs on building healthy boundaries. Whether you need help with boundaries in your personal, professional, or romantic life, I can help. Head on over to barbchat.net, where you can hop onto my calendar for a free 30-minute Better Boundaries consultation. My ideal client is someone who is ripe for change. If that's you, I would love to work with you. My goal with all my work is to help you make lasting changes in your life like I've made deep, lasting changes in my life. Remember, it's never too late to recover. No one is beyond hope, and healing is possible. Thanks for listening.